Okay, quick quickies, let's do this. And welcome to Home Studio Quickies, episode 15. Today, we're doing a question and answer. Let's get to it. Gillies on the Scarlett 2i2 Outputs video says, a 2.1 speaker system is essentially a pair of headphones that you don't have to wear, so you plug it into the Scarlett as you would a pair of headphones. You don't need a 10-minute tutorial for that. Two things. One, it seems like a really obvious idea. I know it's obvious to me, and it's obviously obvious to you because you're leaving this comment. But you can't assume that it is therefore obvious to everyone. You can see how I'm trying to answer this question without offending anyone, insulting anyone, rather. Can you feel my pain? This is difficult. Okay, where was I? Okay, it is simple. It is a really simple concept, and it isn't obvious to everyone yet. Probably after they go through the tutorial and plug it in, and they'll I don't know, 10 minutes later, 10 days later, however long, they'll be like, duh, this is like plugging in a pair of headphones. But right now, it's not like that. You know, it's probably deer in the headlights syndrome. They're doing something they've never done before, and everything is just, I don't know what to do. By the way, that has not been evaluated by any psychologist or whatever the board of psychology is. Anyway, I'm just calling it deer in the headlights. You're doing something brand new. Everything's unfamiliar. Things that should make sense don't make sense. There it is. The reason the video is 10 minutes long is not because of that. I know I'm advocating that some people need to be shown everything, but the reason it's that long is it was my first time making a full tutorial, and so I was slow back then. As you say in this other comment, if you talked any slower, you'd go back in time. Yes. Roughly 4 years ago when I made that video, I talked very slow. Much has changed, but the algorithm has blessed the video immeasurably. That's enough about that one. Let's move on. Gabrielier Landa. I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. This is on recording voice and keys with the Scarlett again. It says, hi, I have a keyboard with samples in 48 kilohertz 16 bits. Does this 2i2 keep same ratio or will be down when recording in DAW or DAW? And are those inputs 1 and 2 mono? So if my keyboard is stereo, I should put left cable on input 1 and right cable on input 2. Ooh, very good. That is right. Left is 1, right is 2 in general. If you want to keep in the order of stage and live sound and everything else. And we'll record stereo in the DAW in real time. Yes, there are a couple steps to that. You'll want to go into your DAW and select stereo recording. In Audition, it's default stereo input, and I imagine there's something similar in other DAWs, but that is how you would record stereo, as you said, left to number 1, input 1, and right to input 2. That is standard. The sounds are 48 kilohertz 16-bit. Does a 2i2 keep same ratio? That depends on your settings. When you go in the settings to set it up, you can go in there and you can choose the settings to be whatever you want. You can have 44.1 K or 44,100, and you can have that at 16 bits or 24 bits, or it really depends on those settings, and you'll want to go in there and dial those settings in. So that's what controls the quality at which it records. It's not just it doesn't automatically do it, and it's also not dependent on the quality that your keyboard is outputting, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that helps. Edward Matarazzo. I hope I'm pronouncing this one right as well. Matarazzo. It's probably Matarazzo because it's a double Z. Also on the Scarlett output says you should try even 6 foot 1/8 inch 3.5 millimeter male TRS to dual 1/4 inch 6.35 millimeter male TS mono Y cable splitter cord. That is a mouthful, brother. and connect it to the rear outputs so you can use both phones and speakers without swapping. Okay, so in this video I plugged in my Logitech Z623 speakers to one of the outputs, the headphone output on my Scarlett 2i2. I see where you're coming from, but I shy away from splitters, especially when you're going from 2 down to 1, so the 2 outputs down to 1 input. I would likely, in the case of the Logitech, I know it can do this. It has RCA inputs on the back, but you can use those RCA and then have each one of those, the right go to the number 2 output and the left to number 1 output on the back of the Scarlett, and then they're going individually into the Z623 setup or the Z625 or whatever Logitech has come up with that has RCA inputs in it. That's something I'd be more in favor of than in trying to split a signal down from 2 to 1. Now, I'm fine with going from 1 to 2 because it's sort of splitting that thing, and I'm a little more sure of the conversion stuff. But that's just me. That's my personal preference based on what I know about audio. But yes, good suggestion. It is possible. Well, my friends, that is it for this episode of Home Studio Quickies, episode 15. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully the answers to these questions were helpful. And look forward to seeing you in another quickie. Later. Everybody does that. I don't know why I just did that.